Whoa, easy, buddy. We don't want to fight you.
Actually, Sonic, I would like to fight.
Not now. Why don't you stop throwing cars at us for a second and come down here to talk?
You jumped out of a gun helicopter. There's nothing to talk about.
SLUURP Heads, here we are, a safe space to finally talk spoilers about one of the most anticipated movies of the year. Of course, we are talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 3. If you haven't seen the movie yet, then no problem, we've got our non-spoiler review in the description down below. But for the rest of you, boy oh boy, we have so much to talk about. Post-credit scenes, new character debuts, death scenes, and much, much more. This is your last spoiler warning. You still with me? Good. I'm kind of a slurp, and this is my spoiler review for Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
It is my destiny to claim the throne of family champion Hedgehog.
Cute. Are you sure you want to challenge the fastest creature in the universe? I mean, that's kind of my whole brand. Okay, Tom and Maddie, count us down.
Right.
Okay, before we start breaking down the movie as a whole, let's not bury the lead here. Those post-credit scenes. I can't possibly go any longer without discussing them, and this is my safe space to do so. So we can finally say that Amy frickin' Rose is in this movie. But not just Amy Rose, so is Metal Sonic. Heck, not just one Metal Sonic, a whole frickin' army of Metal Sonics. Look, I've been pushing for a Sonic CD adaptation for years now, so I am hyped about this. But I'm not gonna lie to you, there's a slight part of me that is concerned with this direction. Like, Metal Sonic should be a single character, right? Does having an army kind of undermine him? And it seems Amy made pretty quick work of the Sonic Terminator army. So I'm somewhat mixed on this, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I'm gonna do a full dedicated video on the Metal Sonic army reveal, talking theories and everything, but until then, leave a comment and tell me your thoughts on this. Theories, criticism, reactions, anything, and you know what, we might even include it in that dedicated video. Oh, also, there were 2 post-credit scenes. We were eating so good with Sonic 3. Sure, this second one doesn't necessarily seem like a lot, but I actually think it's huge. On a strange, far-off planet in a crater, a bracelet or a ring is seen on the floor. Shadow is then seen picking it up. Shadow lives. Yeah, this pretty much sets up his spin-off movie that we know is in the works. I love the idea of Shadow's project being set on a different planet. Heck, this might even be his home planet. I'll discuss this more and more as we get to the other references to the spin-off movie that you might have missed during this movie. But yeah, I'm super excited with this direction, and I think there's a bunch of stuff in this movie that builds up Shadow's own spin-off movie. So why don't we get to the rest of the movie? And how this video is going to work is I'm actually going to go scene by scene and just tell you what I did like, didn't like, and my theories and speculation for each one of those scenes. So why don't we start at the beginning? I was so happy with how quickly this movie kicked into gear. I mean, immediately the film opens on Prison Frickin' Island with the Shadow Breakout sequence. Sure, we've seen most of it in the trailers, but there was immediately some indications that this was going to be a deeper story at play, given he was thinking about Maria in his cryo-sleep. I loved this. It made me know we were in good hands with the Shadow origin story. Then we move over to Sonic and the gang, and we get to visit that old school den from the first movie, and yeah, this was just really cute, a nice way to tie all these movies together and feel like a proper trilogy. We are also introduced to what has to be one of the biggest themes of the movie, and that is staying true to who you are, even in the face of incredibly difficult or extreme circumstances. Again, we see Tom say this to Sonic in the trailers, but I didn't realise how much this theme would come into play later in the movie. So the movie keeps moving at a breakneck speed. We return to Shadow in Tokyo. And again, I said this is my spoiler-free review, but yeah, I was kind of getting bummed out at this point. I was like, oh, this is everything we've seen in the trailers, and I know exactly what's going to happen next. I mean, the movie does kind of get out of that funk a little bit later on, but yeah, it was bumming me down. So yeah, fast forward, we get that first confrontations between Team Sonic and Shadow, and obviously, we've also seen this in the trailers as well. And so yeah, it was just as awesome as seeing it in the marketing campaign. I do actually want to give us some extra love to the Sonic the Hedgehog Shadow motorcycle chase sequence. There was actually a bunch of added footage here we haven't seen yet, and it was incredible. It just looked beautiful on screen. Sure, Shadow didn't keep his gun or the motorcycle nearly as long as I would have liked him to, but I'll take whatever we can get. It was straight out of the Shadow the Hedgehog video game. God, this film crew really cares about the source material, and I love it. Of course, then we head over to the Chao Garden Café, more trailer footage. My god, man. I really hope the team behind this learns a lesson from this movie and next time tries to hide more of the film in the marketing campaign. Heck, take a leaf out of the endgame playbook and only show like the first 15 minutes of the movie. I mean, the trailers for this movie could have actually done that, given the fact there was so much Shadow footage at the beginning. Anyway, our boy Commander Waters shows up, and at this moment I'm like, damn, I'm sure he kind of acts different in each one of these movies. Like, I'm sure they've set him up to become a villain in the previous two, and now Sonic and Gun are best mates. Weird, but okay, sure. Anyway, he gives some lovely exposition about Shadow and says he comes from Meteor. What? That's new, right? Like, I'm sure that's never happened in any other Sonic canon to this date. Am I right about that? How do we all feel about that? I wonder why the filmmakers didn't just choose to have Gerald create him. I'd love to hear the reasoning behind that. If I had to speculate, I'd say it's likely something to do with that confirmed Shadow spin-off that I mentioned earlier. Perhaps Robotnik and Shadow have been yeeted to Shadow's home planet, and his spin-off will be him exploring and finding his place on that planet. I don't know, it's just a theory. Anyway, the Eggbots come in and completely nuke our boy Waters, and I'm like, whoa, they killed him, and oh shit, these movies are going there. They actually killed a semi-important character. Good for this movie. Then a mysterious man on a motorcycle enters. Of course, fans all knew who the man was. The man, the myth, the legend, Agent Stone. He starts to take out some Eggbots. Well, I say take out, but I don't know, was he placing trackers on them or spy cams? I think it was something like that. I love that Agent Stone kind of leveled up here, and in the movie overall, he was given actually an action set piece, and I feel this is his best showing to date, and he deserves it because he's become such a beloved part of these movies and this franchise. God, I hope he becomes the new main villain at some point. Of course, Sonic and the gang chase after Agent Stone, and they meet up with a rather decrepit Robotnik, and yeah guys, we're still in that area of full-on I've seen this in the trailers territory. Oh man. And honestly, maybe if I didn't do this as a job, then perhaps I wouldn't have this problem with so many of the trailers, but yeah, it was really starting to bug me. Oh yeah, Robotnik was watching sitcoms as we first met up with him, and the fact that they returned to that gag later in the movie was just chef's kiss. Oh my god, I love Jim Carrey. This was a 100% his best performance as Eggman, and honestly, I never ever want him to step away from this franchise. I love him so much in this role. He is just brilliant in this reintroduction scene. Okay, so from here we're probably at my favourite sequence of the entire movie. Yes, I'm talking about the Shadow and Maria sequence. I love how they first set this up. Shadow walking around the old facility and coming across one of Maria's old roller skates. Oh god, you just knew this was gonna get freaking emotional, man. I just wasn't ready for how far we was gonna go. We get to see Maria Robotnik for the first time, rolling on skates down the facility hallway. She comes across a young Commander Waters, who points her to her room. She diverts and comes across Shadow in the cryo chamber. He is a very grumpy boy, and Maria is playful with him, mocking his attitude, and then takes out a marker pen and draws a rabbit around him. At this point, I was like, okay Sonic 3, you are already my favourite version of the Maria Shadow story, but it didn't stop there. We then get a full-on montage of their relationship. He pulls her through the hallway on roller skates, and they crash into cakes and make food snow angels. Oh, this is so good. And then they watch this old school monster movie together, and this alien monster text card appears on screen. Oh my god, the face Shadow makes when he sees this? That broke me. I want to hug Shadow, protect Shadow at all costs, leave him alone, world. I also love that Maria also notices how this affects him too. Oh my god, the sequence was just brilliant. But it doesn't stop there. Then they go stargazing in an absolutely beautiful sequence, and honestly, I think what Maria says to him at first might not seem like a lot, but I actually think it has massive future implications for the Sonic cinematic universe. I can't remember it exactly to the T, but I think she says something about it can take 400 years for starlight to be visible from Earth. So by the time we see it, the star might not exist anymore. And then this is the part that I'm thinking about. She says, I wonder which of the stars is your home, and Shadow can't remember where he came from. Come on, this has to connect to what I said earlier, right? At the end of the movie, we find out Shadow is in a different universe or a dimension. He's gotta be quote unquote on the star he came from. Anyway, Shadow is back at the facility, surrounded by fragments of his past. Suddenly, Gerald Robotnik appears in the shadows, but we don't really know it's him yet. Cryptic as ever, right? Meanwhile, Robotnik, Sonic and the gang step through a ring portal ready for action. Shadow senses that something is closing in, but Gerald reassures him it's all part of the plan. The team splits up, Agent Stone and Tails head one way, Sonic and Robotnik another, and Knuckles by himself. And Knuckles is hilariously spooked here because he's been binge watching Casper the Friendly Ghost. He is on edge. I mean, man, how great was Knuckles in this movie? They definitely didn't sideline him, which I'm very happy about. Oh, and then Shadow flips a switch to full Phantom mode. This was friggin' awesome. He was haunting these guys and taking everyone out, except from Sonic and Robotnik, who are busy investigating a separate room. We then return to a similar theme of family when Sonic asks Robotnik if he ever had family or even someone he ever loved. What I really like about this movie is that both Robotnik and Shadow both go through similar character arcs in this movie, and it works really well as it doesn't confuse or mean there is too many conversing themes overall. Robotnik says he's never had anyone and he's all solo. In fact, he says he's never had anyone of any gender, and I'm like, this has got to confirm that Eggman is gay, right? The movie has hinted at it for so long throughout this franchise, and this movie in particular goes further than ever at teasing the Robotnik and Agent Stone relationship, aka my favourite line of the entire movie. You know when everyone is tied up and the Robotniks enter, and then Eggman says, Agent Stone, why are you tied up? Do that in your own time, you disgust me. Oh my god, I howled at this. It was so fucking rogue, and even Agent Stone thought this, given the look on his face. My god, make their relationship canon in Sonic 4. Do it, Paramount, you fucking cowards. Anyway, the Robotniks get the key from Sonic to a gun super weapon and they all head off. We eventually cut back to Maddie and Donut Lord having a crisis now that all the kids have fled the nest. Damn, I almost forgot they were even in this movie. Team Sonic arrives, laying out the secret mission that they need all hands on deck for. Cross-cut to Team Bad, and Gerald explains to Robotnik like sort of part of the plan, and then reveals an even better plan to offer to spend 24 hours together for so long overdue next to kin bonding. And man, do I need to say it anymore, Jim Carrey, you are a national treasure. This was hilarious. Just so stupid. Tails breaks down the heist mission, infiltrate gun headquarters in London, crack into the secret vault and secure the second key. What was great was when they were laying out their plan, there was so many Easter eggs and nods to the games. I especially loved the player select sort of screen at this moment in the holograms. That was great. Maddie at this point suggests that maybe to use the Master Emerald to make Sonic go, you know, supersonic, but Sonic shuts this down as he and his team have made a pact not to do this. It turns out that Knuckles has hid the Master Emerald and only he knows where it is. And I already had theories at this point. I was like, oh my god, someone's going to be guarding it, a new character that they're going to debut, and we'll get to that a little bit later. With that said, we're off to London. Sonic sneaks in some sightseeing while Maddie and Tom go fully undercover. Oh, and they shapeshift into that annoying wedding couple to slip past security. Yay. Look, nothing against these actors or anything, but they were in the worst parts of this movie, just like they're in the worst parts of the last one. Can we stop including them in any more of these films? Thank you, Paramount. They plant a USB, giving Tails remote access to the building. But things take a twist. The Robotniks are already inside, and Tails uses a wave to flush away the Robotnik crab, which is carrying Agent Stone and Shadow at that point. This all kind of sets up a tense reveal. Shadow drops a bombshell to Agent Stone. Gerald's real plan is to wipe out humanity as vengeance for Maria. The kicker? Eggman. has no idea. Again, Jim Carrey is just having fun and hamming it up, and we get a dance sequence here because of course we do. It's a Sonic movie, we have to have a dance sequence for some reason. I'm just happy they gave it to Jim Carrey and Robotnik this time around because it fits him so much better overall. And I've got to say about this sequence where they're going through the lasers, I know they were wearing suits, but how the hell did their heads not get fried to pieces? I mean, I guess it didn't really take me out of the movie, and maybe I shouldn't be really thinking about it too much, but I think it's worth thinking about. We need MatPat to return for a full theory video breaking down why this was the case. Anyway, from here we get a really cool action sequence in a room where like there are different slabs and they either decrease or increase gravity. It's a really cool concept and it made for a really cool action sequence. Sonic ends up finding himself trapped in a floating cube while the Robotniks are pinned to the ground by the gravity field. Maddie, Tom, Tails, Rockwell and the gun troopers burst in, and just then Knuckles channels the frickin' flames of disaster, smashing the room into pieces. And I'm like, damn. And at this moment it looks like Tom is going to die, and I'm like, yes, we've already seen Commander Waters and now I'm fully ready to see Tom die. I love how high the stakes feel, but no, he's still alive, which disappointed me. Sorry, but it did. What follows is an all-out war for the key, with everyone scrambling to gain the upper hand. Robotnik worm crawling towards it. I mean, that's gold. Amid the chaos, Rockwell snatches the key, but Tom has a plan to get the key card for Rockwell. He shapeshifts into Commander Waters and confronts her, successfully getting the key. However, he bumps into Shadow, who is still pretty pissed about what happened between Gunn and Maria. Shadow then uppercuts this dude, and oh my god, they're killing Tom again. He is a goner, bro. This is what I wanted. Heightened states. Rip to Tom, man. Oh wait, no, he's being taken off an ambulance, so obviously he's still alive. Thank you, NHS, I guess. Well, at least I like to see how angry Sonic got here. This massively affects him. I mean, Shadow kinda almost killed his dad. Wait a minute, I just noticed they didn't call him Dad in the entire movie. That's interesting. Anyway, I like this. Sonic is teetering on the edge of the dark side here. He's on the edge of essentially becoming what Shadow has already become. This manifests in a really cool character moment. Sonic says he needs the Master Emerald to go full God mode and mess Shadow up, but Knuckles isn't having any of it. It looks like the two are about to clash. We're getting some Sonic 2 action, man, but Knuckles powers down and he says, look, mate, we made a pact, and if you want it, go get it. He reveals that it's being guarded. And now, given this franchise and these movies and the kind of humour it likes, and what the writers have said in the past, I thought, oh my god, the Guardian is gonna be Big the Cat. This would have been such a great way to introduce the character. I was like, yes, this is 11 out of 10, pure cinema, yes, yes, yes. Oh, it's Wade Whipple. Yay. So Sonic gets to Master Emerald, cut to the Robotniks who launch the ship, Agent Stone watches from the ground, and Shadow asks if this is really what Maria would want, and Gerald reminds him what they did to her, what they took from him. Cue the next flashback, and yeah, we gotta stop for a minute here and talk about this right. The death scene. No gunshot death. How are we all feeling about that, Sonic community? While there is a shot, it hits a gas tank and that's what kills her. Controversial? It probably is in the Sonic community, but it was always probably likely to happen this way given the age rate and demographic of the movie. They can get away with more in video game cutscenes and animation, but please let me know what you think about this iconic sequence being changed in the comments down below. So yeah, this all makes Shadow very grumpy, using chaos energy to power the ship and make it fully operational. 10 minutes until the laser beam yeets everyone off the face of the earth. Agent Stone then calls and lets his lover, boss, know that Gerald wasn't fully truthful, and Gerald reveals that the plan is to kill everyone, including them, and Robotnik is like, yo, my guy, this is wild. Why would we do that? Why don't we just rule over everyone, you absolute nutter? Then bam, here we go, boys. Super Sonic comes racing out of the atmosphere towards the ship. It can't be a missile, it's going too damn fast. He targets Shadow and smashes into a volcanic environment. And what is so amazing about this scene is that it shows Shadow's power levels in the Sonic cinematic universe, as he actually kicks the power of the Master Emerald out of Sonic. Man, they made my boy look so peak and I love it. They both jump for the emeralds and end up going Super Sonic and Super Shadow respectively. And at this point I did have to change my pants, and this wasn't even the best part. Oh my god, the two go full on Dragon Ball Z, zooming and fighting across the planet. This is one of my favourite fight scenes I've ever seen in a blockbuster ever. It will never change, I love it, I'm going to watch this over and over and over and over and over and over again. The fight is then interrupted by another fight scene between the two Robotniks, which I did love, but there was kind of a little bit of a tonal contrast, and this one was just so super silly and stupid, whereas the Super Shadow and Super Sonic one was pure awesomeness. So that was a little bit difficult to get on board with. Sonic and Shadow end up on a moon or asteroid, something like that, and Sonic is pissed and is about to pummel Shadow, but Shadow tells him to do it, and Sonic remembers what Tom said to him and holds back. And in this moment we come back to Sonic's big character motive and main theme of the movie. They talk about those that they have lost and whether the pain ever gets easier. Shadow decides that wiping out humanity, it probably isn't the best idea. He then powers back up as Super Shadow, and he and Sonic team up and take down Gerald. And this was live and learn, right? Yo, this was so hype. I can't believe they actually did it. Gerald unleashes some robots, and I'm sorry, but were these meant to be like E123 Omega type bots? They look like that, and again going back to my theory of the Shadow spin-off movie, one of these E123 Omega type bots could still be on the ship that gets yeeted into a different dimension. Then bam, the Shadow spin-off has E123 Omega and Shadow exploring the planet together. Yes, 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 but if I'm wrong please tell me in the comments, because otherwise I look like an idiot. Anyway, Gerald is about to kill Robotnik, kicking him off. Robotnik falls in a very similar manner to the Sonic 2 ending, like I was so ready for him to say later haters. However, Tails and Knuckles save him, Gerald gets bug zapped in the Chaos Energy, and Tails, Knuckles and Robotnik attempt to divert the laser while Super Shadow and Super Sonic hold the beam. I'm loving this so much and I never want this movie to end. But then Sonic is depowered and hurtles towards the Earth, and the laser hits the freaking moon. Cue the meme. I mean, the fact that the moon is destroyed has to have some implications for the next movie, right? Shadow is on the ship and tells Robotnik they still have time to make things right. Tails is yeeted towards Sonic to save him, and he passes out as well. Robotnik says, if I can't rule the world, I might as well save it. And then we get another one of my favourite scenes of the movie, which is basically Eggman's redemption scene. He broadcasts his final message to the world, and more importantly, Agent Stone. I love that he says, I love the way you make them. I mean, I quote that in my everyday life so often. And he finishes with a final line, and I was sure, my god, I was sure that they were going to reveal that Robotnik loves Agent Stone IRL, but nah, he just calls him a friend. You're cowards, Paramount, cowards I tell ya. Anyway, Robotnik dies again, which I am not buying this time around. The ship blows into the 6th dimension and Knuckles saves the team. We return to the campsite from the beginning, they have another race, cut to the credits and the post credits, which we have already discussed. Oh, and by the way, the end credits, I love them. The animation was gorgeous, and these filmmakers just know what they're doing, man. So yeah, that's it. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and when I said there was a lot to discuss in the non-spoiler review, I wasn't lying. My god, there is just so much. I wanted to cover everything here with some of my thoughts and feelings about the biggest moments and reveals. I'm also going to be doing a lot of super in-depth individual scene breakdown videos and pictures for Sonic the Hedgehog 4. You are not going to want to miss that. I am so stoked to be talking all things Sonic the Hedgehog for weeks, months and years on this channel. But yeah, I absolutely adored this movie, easily the best Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and perhaps even the best video game movie of all time? I know it's recency bias, but it's definitely up there. But what do you think? This is where I pass it over to you. Leave any and all spoilerific thoughts in that comment section down below. And make sure you're subscribed so we can talk all things Sonic in our upcoming videos. I'm Connor for SLUURP, and I'll see you in the next one.